It's kind of an effort to talk to some people in the group, and starting with those who I thought had kind of like interesting stories outside of their day-to-day roles in the company. And you're the first person that came to my mind, because when you joined the organization going back probably close to 5 years ago, am I correct?
4 years next month.
I was almost there. 4 years. That's insane. Because I remember the day you walked in the door and I was like, hey, I know that guy. Kind of, not really, but I know who he is. And I guess because you got a really interesting life outside of Admiral, which I'm sure was probably a lot busier before the pandemic. You're the front man of a pretty big metal band in the city and probably in Atlantic Canada. And you've got some like entrepreneurial stake in the music industry in Halifax. What's your band's name? What's your pet's name? What's the name of your band?
Oh, we can talk about my pets all day. I can get them for cameos. My band's name is Orchid's Curse.
And you sing.
Some may not call it singing. But yes, that would be the technical definition, I guess. Self-control, never a strong point. We're a heavy metal band, definitely melodic, as most of the band's moms would put it. The band's really good, but why does Josh have to yell so much? I mean, we've toured extensively throughout Atlantic Canada, including Newfoundland, which is our favorite spot to play, is probably St. John's. We've opened for, like you said, quite a bit of the bigger underground metal bands. Bands like Children of Bodom, Every Time I Die, Black Dahlia Murder, toured with 3 Inches of Blood. Yeah, good times.
You have like a side endeavor, which to me was probably equally impressive, and that's promoter and label owner.
So I ran a record label called Diminished Fifth Records from 2006 to 2015. To my knowledge, we were the first heavy metal record label based out of Atlantic Canada, at least that had, national and international distribution. We released, I believe, 26 albums over our 9-year, almost decade of having the record label. Exclusively for bands from Atlantic Canada. The concerts that we've brought here are through Red Tentacle Music Solutions, which still exists as a registered business. I would say the biggest claim to fame from a concert promotion point of view would probably be either one of our last shows, which was the band Sleep at the Marquee. 800 people on a Monday night, incredible show. Beyond that, I would say probably the first really big event we did was we did Every Time I Die throughout the Maritime. So we did Halifax, Moncton, and Charlottetown, their first tour, and then we booked them their second time in Atlantic Canada to promote their shows as well.
Why did you decide to take the next step and say, hey, I'm actually going to start, investing time and probably your own money into, making these shows happen?
When I started playing in a metal band in 2005, 2006, there wasn't really an infrastructure for it, both for, live performance or certainly not a record label that was putting out that stuff in the region. So it was kind of necessity to start that up.
4 years ago, what kind of made you decide to apply for the position of CCR at Admiral?
So I guess I was really just looking for stability. I was lucky that, kind of with years being self-employed, contract employed, I did also work for Dalhousie's Center for Clinical Collaborative Learning and Research, and I helped administer medical exams in the weirdest of jobs that I've probably ever had.
Wow.
I worked my way up from a simulated patient with them to a team lead or a track lead on most national accredited medical exams. Very strange face to see, I'm sure, for most of the young soon doctors to be, see me checking them in each day and dealing with that. But so I was pretty happy with kind of general life, but the problem is there was never any stability. It wasn't a regular 2-week paycheck type thing every 2 weeks. There was no benefits. There was no paid vacation time, no holiday time. I knew some people that worked with Admiral, including Fabian, who when I first started my record label, used to be a manager at a record store, and I used to bring in my albums on consignment to sell them through his record store. And I saw, what some people had done with Admiral, and they spoke very highly of it. Certainly being, the way I look with a beard and, covered in tattoos, I was, I guess, kind of worried going into, what I would consider kind of a corporate contact center environment at first. But knowing, someone like Fabian worked there helped put my mind to rest about that, certainly. And a lot of people talked about potential room for advancement. So I figured, I'd give it a shot. Kind
of going back to the earliest days of you being with the company, what was the one thing that really kind of stood out to you as like, wow, this is a different workplace, or this is it's a pretty unique spot to be?
Yeah, I mean, a couple things. The tricycles, the giant adult-sized tricycles, were certainly one thing that stood out. I think, the first time I seen Josh Hines walk around in his Tyrannosaurus Rex suit, giving out candy. Yvonne bringing over like a cart full of grilled cheese sandwiches, and just like, this is strange, but I like it, but it's strange. And then I guess really my first kind of eye-opening experience was when I got asked to be involved in the first top 10 presentation after I'd started. And, next thing you know, I'm dressed as a garden gnome, singing Smash Mouth to my coworkers. And I saw this place, now I'm a believer. Yeah, that was weird. We're a real Fortune 500 company, or I guess FTSE 100 company. For real? Like, when you dress like a garden gnome, you're paying me to go to band rehearsals for one Smash Mouth cover song. So
that is such a weird, such a weird kind of milestone, to participate in top 10 for the first time. It's a little hard to wrap your head around. Shout it from the rooftop! And for me, it was like, why do we do this? And then, after the first year, you're like, okay, the competitive side of it really kind of appeals to me anyway. And then, you're just, after you get through the first year, you're like both feet in at that point. And you're like, okay, bring it on.
There's no turning back.
What are we doing this year that's going to be totally off the wall? For someone who's like new to the company, been here for, a year or less, or is just starting, what kind of, and as a TM, what kind of piece of advice would you give to someone to be like, here's how you become comfortable, here's how you progress, here's how you succeed within Admiral? I think one of the most kind of rewarding things about Admiral is, your senior has done your job, your TM has done your job, their bosses, the ops managers, have done your job. The promotion from within that way, I think, speaks volumes. So, when you're able to take on feedback and advice from people that have done your role, it goes a lot further than certainly someone that would be designated as a manager of any type telling you how to do a job that they don't understand how to do or potentially couldn't do themselves, right? So I think that's a big part of it. And take advantage of opportunities. I had no idea what my path in Admiral would be like when I came in the door. And, I had Natalie O'Brien as my first TM, and she whipped me into shape pretty fast. 6 months in, they're like, do you want to be a model office helper? And I was like, sure, being brand new and take advantage. And, next thing you know, as a relatively new agent, I'm helping, coach and provide feedback and answer questions to even newer folks than me, right? So it was just kind of like take advantage of the opportunities as they come to you and take on all the advice and feedback that's there. Lots of coaching and development opportunities as you kind of work your way through the company, whether it's at a CCR level or beyond, right? So what's the most rewarding thing about the position you're in now and your day-to-day? I like to help people. I like to see people learn. I like to see people exceed and succeed. So for me, there's nothing more rewarding than, finishing a coaching session with an agent and the next day they're like, oh my God, I tried this and it worked, or I did what you said here and I sold, 3 FDCs today, or I'm up to 90% retention today. Not to sound too cheesy, but there's something really rewarding about helping someone achieve their potential and then them coming back to you and saying like, oh my God, it actually worked. Like I did X, Y, Z and it did what you said, you know what I mean? So to me, that's really one of the biggest
rewards that I get, right? And that was the same as when I was a senior or a TM.
What does the rest of the year look like for you?
We just did a team shuffle, so I'm with a brand new team as of the start of this month. We've hit the ground running performance-wise, and I'm hoping to keep kind of building that up. And hopefully stake our claim as one of the strongest teams in Halifax, continue to perform well, show up where we should be, which in my opinion, kind of top 2, if not top team in Halifax, right? So that's kind of my internal goal for myself and the team over the next couple months. Take on my coaching and development and hopefully turn a seconded TM spot into a permanent TM spot, I guess would be nice too. But I understand, that's going to come back to business needs at the end of the day. Outside of Admiral, hopefully we were planning on announcing some concerts before too long that we were going to promote. Those are all backburnered right now till we wait and see if we can actually have live music again, at least for the type of shows we book. Stay tuned on that, and hopefully we'll get back to having some live concerts again, right? So
thanks for sitting down, taking the time out of your day. All the best, man.
Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate the time, man.
Take care, buddy.
Cheers, man.